25% of all adults aged 20 to 35 still live with their parents, according to Yahoo Answers. This statistic was virtually non-existent 50 years ago, so what has changed? What has caused this problem? Well, it could be a poor education system or a failing economy, but let's face it, neither of those things seem very likely. Think about what every loser living in his parents' basement has in common. Video games. I believe that video games are single-handedly causing every single problem we have in America. Now, don't be offended if you play video games. I play video games too, but as of late I have discovered some interesting discoveries on the impact that video games have on people's lives. First, we will stuff our faces with some insight on how video games are making us fat, download the reason why they're making us dumb, and finally we will level up and rage quit once we figure out how they're making us violent. It is in the best interest of America for me to give you this speech. Obesity rates have been rising and rising fast. 15% of children and 35% of adults are classified as obese today. With this sudden epidemic, people everywhere are searching for someone to blame. Do we blame the fast food market, stress, politicians? I blame video games. Video games will literally suck out your metabolism through wireless connections. That's right, your TV screen will emit a nuclear radiation that slows down your metabolism by a rate of about 90% for wireless consoles and 50% for wired consoles. Some people claim that a poor diet is to blame for our expanding posteriors, but let's face it, how could food possibly make us fat? I mean, think about it. Food has been around forever. Video games have not. In order to provide more research on my theory that video games are single-handedly causing every single problem in America, I have done a little bit of online research. Sodahead.com poses an interesting question. Do you think video games are making us fat? I made some interesting discoveries. Here are some actual comments from real video gamers themselves. This first one says, yes, you do get fat. Like when you get a new game, you'll be like, OMG, I got to finish this game. The only thing you will be working out is your fingers. So if you don't go outside, clean the house, well, you know what I mean. You will positively be fat or grow fat. The next one says, yes, it makes you fat because once you're on, you want to play more and you don't have time to go outside or work out or go to the gym, and you eat and play and get fat. Some of the less intelligent users said, no, if you're really dipped in there, you won't even remember what to eat or whether you want to eat or not. So how can you become fat in that condition? The next one says, no, most of them know. We gives exercise. Dance. So maybe that wasn't such a good idea. But now that we know how video games are making us fat, let's take a look at how video games are making us dumb. Education rankings have been plummeting. Teen pregnancy rates, standardized test scores, and reality TV shows provide further evidence to this fact. So this raises the question, why are we getting so dumb? Well, I've come to the conclusion that every single person who plays video games is stupid. Why? Well, dozens of studies support this theory. Constantly playing video games will rot your brain cells. The gripping plot lines, imaginative graphics, and logic puzzles do absolutely nothing to stimulate your brain. In fact, they do quite the opposite. Take a look at this. This is your brain before you play video games. This is your brain after. Now, you may not have noticed, but the ganglion cortexual lobe has disintegrated at a rate of about 2.76%. Through a series of complex mathematical equations, we can calculate that this percentage will have raised to a hefty 3% by the time you play video games for a straight 8 weeks. So, now that we know how video games are making us dumb, let's look at how video games are slowly making the youth of America more and more violent. Children are more exposed to violence now in 2013 than they have been ever in history. I mean, forget about when gladiators used to savage each other for sport and people used to watch each other chop each other's heads off for fun. Video games are harming our children's lives. Little known fact, Hitler played video games. I personally advise you to never buy your child a violent video game. Why? Well, let's think through this logically. Your child is already fat and dumb because he plays video games. Since he's fat, he won't have any friends and he'll be desperately in need to be accepted socially. Because he's dumb, he'll see that the people on his video games are being violent violent and they have giant friends. Hear the scientifically proven concept of monkey see, monkey do, goes into play, and your child will go on a rampage, beating up other children and killing innocent animals to make friends. We thought that buying little Timmy that one little deer hunting game would be harmless, but once Timmy gets his hands on a gun, boom, Timmy has just killed Bambi. Not convinced? Let's look at the facts. Most teens who play violent video games are aged 16 to 25. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, in the year 2005, the year Call of Duty 2 came out, 26.5% of all homicides were committed by people aged 16 to 25. I've constructed a stacked bar graph to show you these statistics. First, look at the graph in black and white. There seems to be no apparent pattern, but look at it when you add color. You will see a pattern. Coincidence? I think not. Wake up, America. So, now that we have stuffed our faces with some insight on how video games are making us fat, downloaded the reason why they're making us dumb, and finally we leveled up and rage quit and figured out how they're making us violent, we can look back at our lives and realize that surreptitiously, video games have caused all of our wrongdoings. Remember all that weight you gained in 8th grade? Yeah, that was World of Warcraft. Remember when your teacher asked you who was the woman to create the American flag and you answered with Morgan Freeman? Yeah, that was Pokemon. Remember that kid you punched in 3rd grade? Call of Duty. Stop playing video games. For the good of your peers, the good of your parents, and the good of your country.